Hello and welcome to the Lady Sows. It's dry today. Not only is it dry, the sun's come out. So I have decided that I need to sort my greenhouse. I've got plants that are now starting to come through that I sowed just over a week ago. I've been away for another week, but this time down at my daughter's. My son was over from New Zealand, so we all met down there, which was very nice. But while I've been away, some of the seeds have now come up, so I need to actually get the greenhouse sorted so that I've got somewhere to put them. Anyway, I thought I'd show you my greenhouse, and I've talked about it in the past. It's absolutely filthy, so it needs a good clean. It's not used in the winter. This is my greenhouse, if I can find a good spot. It's only a little greenhouse, as you can see. It's actually 4 foot square, which is the same size as the hotbed that Charles Dowding makes in his greenhouse to raise his plants on every year. I always say to people, buy the biggest greenhouse that you can both afford and have space for. Well, this was the biggest greenhouse I had space for at the time. The fence used to come up to the back of it. As I say, it's not, the sun's kind of in the way. The fence used to come up to the back of it. It doesn't any longer because we did move the fence. I've got a few plants in there, as you can see. We did move the fence a few years after I bought it. And this is my little greenhouse here, which is 2 foot by 4 foot and is really more of a vertical cold frame. I used to have a couple of those plastic greenhouses that blew to bits every winter, and decided this was a cheaper alternative in the long run, and it has been fantastic. Now, despite the smallness of this greenhouse, my large greenhouse, I've actually grown thousands of plants in it over the nearly 20 years that I've had it. So, the job today is to get it all cleaned and get it set up. I shall let you have a look once I've done that. Right, well, I've set up my greenhouse. I've given it a good clean, 2 green buckets of water later, and I've got the staging in. I found this gravel, which has been sculling around at the back for a while, so it all needs tidying up at the back. Whole garden needs a good tidy up. So I've got some strawberries here that I've overwintered. I've lost some of them. I've got some new shoots beginning to come. I'm hoping now they'll actually start to grow a bit, but they won't be staying here long. There's not space for them. So they'll be going down to the allotment as soon as I start to see new growth. Oh, there's a little bit of new growth coming on that one. I wasn't altogether sure. These sweet peas I actually sowed at the end of December, 29th of December. Germinated them indoors, and as soon as they came through, I stuck them outside because, of course, I was going away and I didn't want them in the house. I've got some, let's bring these down here so it's easier to see. These are multi-sown radishes and turnips. I don't normally grow turnips at this time of the year, but I was giving them a go. I normally grow them in the autumn. I think I need to put some vermiculite on top of them just to stop any dampening off. Oh, that one's dead. So they've germinated. As you can see, because I was away, they've germinated while I was away. They're drawing to the light. So I stuck them out here. They'll be fine out here. They don't mind cool conditions at all. If it's going to be frosty, I'll just put some fleece over them. Excuse me. And these broad beans, because I've such a struggle with broad beans. I'm not sowing broad beans again until January in future. I'm just not sowing them in the autumn. I sowed these on the 6th of February, but they've not all germinated. I think there's might be another couple due to come up. Let's have a look. It's got a good root system, if you can see that. But as I say, I'm not I'm not doing autumn broad beans ever again because it just doesn't work anymore. So my next task, which goes on this bit of staging here, let me go out of the greenhouse so I can show you. I'm going to make, I put on a hotbed with warming cables. I've got an electricity supply down here, which comes from the conservatory, which I've got power up the back of the conservatory, and I will be putting a hotbed on here, and so that's my next task. So I'm off to do that, and then I'll come back when I've finished that as well, or I might show you how I'm getting on with that, but I'm not going to run the camera while I'm doing it, but I'll show you in stages, as it were. Right, so this is my hotbed. It's 4 foot, no, it's not 4 foot because this greenhouse is 4 foot, so it's probably about 3.5 foot, about 18 inches wide, something like that. There's not a lot of room in here once I've got all this stuff in, but I can just about squeeze in. Now, I made this a few years ago now. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've just realised I put it the wrong way round, so I'm going to have to turn it round because the thing for the cable's up the other end, and I put the actual plug down this end, and it's heavy, and I've just lined it with bubble wrap because that's what I happen to have to keep the dampness off. And I got 2 lids from the fishmongers from their boxes that their fish comes in, which I put on the bottom, which is polystyrene, which of course acts as an insulation and stops the heat from disappearing down the bottom at the bottom of the box. But although I'm getting it ready, I won't be starting to use this until March, because I don't actually need, I've got enough space with my propagator indoors. But once the plants start really coming up, then I will, or once I need to start really sowing with the ventures, which happens to be March, then I will probably set it, I will switch it on. But anyway, so I'm gonna make a start at filling it. Well, first of all, as I say, I've got to turn the flipping thing round because it helps the heat disperse. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, or whether I'm actually in the way of the camera. But so just by winding this cable, I may have to alter how I'm doing it because I haven't. But I know that this heats this up quite well. This size cable that I've got, because as I say, although I bought a new one last year, the other one I'd had for years, when it kept blowing the fuse, I realised I needed a new one. So, and now I'm just going to top that up with some more recycled compost. Let's find my glove. Wrong hand. I will glove. I've bought myself some new ones. I popped into RHS Wisley and I went south. Right, let's get some more compost. Now I shall give this another water, and then I will let it settle, because it will settle down over the next few days. Pat it down a bit, then I'll top it up, and then the last thing I do is I get a couple of old compost bags and cut them, open them up, and then put the compost bags black side up. Yes, this will need a bit more in due course. Black side up, and you're away to go. And this As I say, the nice thing about this is that it does have a thermostat with it, so at night I can turn it up a bit because it's cold at night, but also if we're going to get frost or anything like that, I can just put fleece over the plants. As I say, it's not, oh, there's a worm there, you don't want to be in there, it's going to be too hot. And what I have to now do is remember how to plug it in so that you get the thermostat to work. I think I can remember. Anyway, so that's me all set up in this greenhouse. As I say, I'm just going to give this a little bit more water. It will need a top up, and I'll make sure it's level. I do have a spirit level, sado that I am. And then come the beginning of March, which is when I'll start using it, I'm all set to go. I've got some propagator lids that I use on here with the seedlings just to keep them a bit warmer, particularly at night, because that's the biggest issue for seedlings at this time of the year, is keeping them warm at night, and hence the reason why I germinate a lot of stuff indoors. But I needed this set up because they're coming through and they need to come out in the light so that they don't draw. I've got the other one to do now, which I'm not doing today, which is going to be my vertical propagator, my vertical cold frame, because of the onions, I am going to run out of space in here. As I say, it's only a little space, but it is absolutely amazing what I grow in here. So as the season goes on, I will show you what I'm growing in here. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching, and hope to catch you another time. Bye for now. Bye.